Happy hump day. Hey, everyone. It is the Wednesday before a holiday weekend. Thank you for tuning in to the Good News Radio Station and checking me out. AskZena, Coach AskZena. What is today all about? Hey, I got a couple announcements and want to share with you. And, oops, I hit the desk. That'll be a bruise. Today was interesting. So it took about 2.5 hours and just sort of discombobulated me. Apparently very, very sad. There was a body on the 405 freeway and going north. And so I had to take surface streets. And my Waze sent me getting off on El Segundo, going to Vermont, going up 64th Street, going to Vernon, going to Arlington. I saw every part of the city today. Whew, wow. But I made it, and all is well. Hey, if you're just tuning in, thank you for listening to the Good News Radio Station. This is the AskZena Radio Show, and I am your hostess with the mostest. I think, right? Let's get into this today. So, what am I going to talk about? I am going to talk about having happy, healthy relationships. Yes. And this is a 3-part series. Yes. Because we need to know and how to navigate these relationships so that we can live the abundant life, right? And so today I'm talking about money. And you're probably saying, why is she talking about relationships with money? What does money have to do with relationships? Money has a lot to do with all kinds of relationships. And you know that people get divorced for not having good relationships with money, right? Finances is the number one reason why people get divorced. So we are going to talk about that today. Not divorce. I don't want to talk about divorce, but I want to talk about relationships with money. And I want to help you understand that money is energy and energy flows and money flows as well. And there is no loss of abundance on this planet. A matter of fact, there's more money on this planet right here, right now than there has ever been. And now people are billionaires when we were like millionaires. Wow, I want to aspire to be a millionaire. Now you darn near have to be a billionaire. You have to be a billionaire, right? I think I saw something on television that there is a home, the most expensive home in the world is being sold for $1.3 billion. Really? You think I'm going to spend all those zeros on one house with 900 rooms and I only use one? I think people have gotten crazy with this. So anyway, hey, if you're tuning in to the Good News Radio Station, I want to give you a couple of announcements and I want to extend an invitation to you. We are having a showcase September 14th at 5:30 in Hollywood. You can check out all the details on thegoodnewsradiostation.com, or you can check out that via our Instagram under the profiles, or you can go into the profiles of the personalities on the website. You can buy a ticket. It's only $10. If you want to pay at the door, it's $15. You need to come to this. It's going to be so much fun. It's a Saturday night. We're going to be having mini games and laughing. And also giving away Good News merchandise. I will be giving away a couple of t-shirts that I've created for AskZena Radio. Come out, have a good time. And it's my birthday. Yes, it's my birthday. And I normally don't celebrate my birthday. I normally just sort of isolate for my birthday. And do some self-reflection because it's kind of like my New Year's Eve. And I just really focus on the year before, make some plans for the year forward. But I'm going to be celebrating it with my new family, the Good News Radio Station, and all of our personalities. We even have some personalities coming from out of state. So please come and check us out. So that's September 14th, 5:30 in Hollywood. Find out all the details on the website. Buy your ticket. It's only $10. Also, for Black Women in Business. I am going to be volunteering in the morning, September 14th and September 15th at Black Women in Business Rock. They're doing a conference and workshops in Carson. We expect about 300 to 500 people. They're allowing you to bring your teenage child with you so that they can participate in some of these workshops and learn about finances and learn about being entrepreneurs. So go to the Black Business Women That Rock. Go to their website and check them out. Find out more information about them. Just 2 more announcements. Okay. One of the other things that I wanted to share is, that I work for a media company, and we are always looking for really good stories in the community about people who are making a difference, companies that are making a difference. It could be a human interest story. We don't do any crime, or we don't do anything like that. We don't do breaking news. So you probably know which media company I'm talking about. But anyway, hey, if you've got a story of something happening in your community, Los Angeles County, Orange County, San Fernando Valley, even Inland Empire, reach out to me, coach.askzena@gmail.com, and tell me your story. Maybe it can be on television. I was going to tell you the name of the company, but no, maybe it'll be on television. I can probably get a reporter to come out. So if your business is doing something that's impacting the community, if it's a new business and it's opening up, if you got a new burger that you want to share, hey, reach out to me, coach.askzena@gmail.com. And that's a lot. I have 2 networking groups, not multi-level, but networking groups where people can mix and mingle and get to know one another and be in a supportive tribe of women. Sorry, man. Only women groups. I have a group called AVOW, AVOW, which is Authentic Voices of Women. You can find us on Facebook. We are doing some pretty dynamic things. We just had a release ceremony in San Pedro, and where we wrote down our fears, worries, and doubts, and then we picked up some stones and wrote positive messages and laid them along the shoreline. And so that leads me to talk about my second group in Redondo Beach, which is Redondo Beach Group Women Over 40. And I was sharing my story about a vow, and one of the ladies was like, oh my gosh, this woman found this positive message in San Pedro at White Point, and she posted it on Facebook, and it was one of our rocks. So giving back, loving on people that we don't even know, but just sending out positive energy into the universe. So that Redondo Beach group is actually meeting this Saturday at a location called the Great Room in Redondo Beach off of Artesia. Okay. Woosah, woosah. All right. So I'm doing this again. Messed up. You know me, right? So this is going to be a 3-part series. We're going to talk about happy, healthy relationships. We are going to talk about money today. Then we're going to follow it up with part 2, and we're going to talk about relationships and some inner childhood wounds. I know you're like, well, why do we have to talk about that? But when you hear my story today about money, you're going to be like, I need to learn more about them inner childhood wounds, because there's some stuff that's anchoring you to not living your best life. And we're also going to have a relationship expert out in one of the 3 series who will be talking about happy, healthy relationships and how to really set your boundaries and live the best life possible. So I know that you guys thought that I was talking about relationships. I'm going to get into that because there's relationships is everything that we do. It's our work relationships. It's our friendships. It's our relationships with money. It's with children. It's with neighbors. It's with coworkers. It's with our boss. It's with our success. It's a relationship with yourself. So let's jump in today. So, yeah. Hey, and if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me on social media or drop me an email on coach.askzena@gmail.com. Let's talk about this. So money is energy. Money flows. There's a lot of money on this planet. there's a difference between people and their belief systems with money. And there are people who are not even aware of their relationships with money. So let me give you an example of a relationship with money. A poor example of a relationship with money is you work 40 hours a week. You get paid on Friday. By Tuesday, you're broke. Another example of a bad relationship with money, you've got payday cash loans. You've got a loan on your car for, a title loan. There's been exploitation of bad relationships with money because companies make money off of us having bad relationships with money. Right? But what about if you turn that around? So have you ever had a time in your life where you were making great money and then you lost it? Maybe you spent it. You were making great money and you gave too much of it away to family or to a boyfriend or to a girlfriend or to a spouse. You were making great money and you lost your job. You were just trying to climb yourself out of the hole and something else happened, right? That's about a relationship with money. That's about, do you have a good relationship with money? And so I want to share my story. And when I talked about the inner child, you're like, that doesn't have anything to do with this money. And what is she talking about relationships? And I don't want to go back to, stuff from my past. And I don't want to relive that. I had a bad past and I don't want to. Let me just tell you, that stuff from your past is anchoring you to your past and to those beliefs. And so you're never able to forge ahead. We talked about energy a couple of weeks ago, and we talked about you put forth this effort and nothing ever manifests. You do these things and, you go on these interviews and nothing ever happens. You move in the right direction. Maybe you start a network marketing business. Maybe you start a brick and mortar business. Maybe you start a home-based business and it flops because you're anchored to the belief system about money. So do this dance with me. Come on, y'all. I'm going to share, because I'm pretty transparent. I want to share my inner beliefs. That was a huge revelation. Thank you, Tanya. Huge revelation to me last weekend. And it really flows and it is interwoven into all of my relationships. And I didn't realize it was a memory that I had about money. So, I'm black and brown. Hispanic and French Creole and African American and just a mutt. But I'm an okay mutt. I'm a progressive mutt. So, I'm pretty mixed up in terms of my nationality and my culture and so forth. And so I was raised by my father's parents. My parental grandparents for a little while. And then I went to go live with my mother for the second half of my early childhood. So anyway, let me tell you a little bit about what happened. I went to a group on self-awareness and self-healing last weekend. We sat at a park. We did some breathing exercises and we talked about early childhood memories. And unbeknownst to me, this early childhood memory really permeated in all aspects of my life. So I'm going to share that with you. I ain't going to cry, but I'm going to share it with you because I'm healing from it. I'm in a good place with this. But if it sounds bad, if it sounds like, oh my gosh, she lived that, then I'm sorry. Don't pity me because I'm under construction and I'm working on it and it is all good. So I'm glad that I had this awareness. So after the breathing exercises, I was asked about my early childhood memory and just early childhood memory. And immediately what came up was when I was 6 years old and I was collecting cans with my grandfather. So my father's father had a great job and worked for CalCan, retired from CalCan, worked there down in Vernon, California for 30-something years. And But what he would love to do is he would wake up on Saturday and Sunday at 3 o'clock in the morning, and we would go in East LA and we'd go collect cardboard and go collect cans. And he would always want either my brother or I to come with him, and he would split some of the money with us. And so that's how my grandfather was able to pay cash for his homes. He was just a very frugal man. He was the Fred Sanford of East LA. I don't think he ever bought anything new. Seriously. And on these little excursions on the weekend, he would pick up, different things and try to fix it. And I was like, oh my gosh, we're seriously Sanford and Son living in this life. But I remember one time I was 6 years old and he wanted me to go, and I just didn't want to go at 3 o'clock in the morning. But I told him that I would go. I was 6 years old. I'm 6 years old. I can change my mind. I was 6 years old, and he wanted me to go, and I didn't go. I complained, but then I finally put on my shoes and went. And I remember that it was very important for me to do this because he was expecting this. And if I didn't, then he was going to be mad at me for the whole day, and I was probably going to be chastised. And I was a little chunky. I'm still chunky now. I was going to be called gordita and lazy and, all of these different things. Does that sound horrible? Because we wouldn't do that today to our children, right? We wouldn't say these horrible things to our children, but at that generation, at that time, they did. And being in a Hispanic family, being in a Mexican-American family, the boy child is praised and honored and, whatever. And my brother didn't have to go a lot of times. My brother was never asked, but I was asked. And I remember feeling that I had to do this in order to receive. I had to do this even to receive even to receive that it was okay. Like it was okay for me to be in that environment. I had to do this. Like I had to, I'm thinking about it. Like if I didn't do this, I wouldn't have been able to watch cartoons on Saturday, or, I might have had to do other things. Like I remember having to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning to do this with my grandfather, to go dumpster diving and collect cardboard and cans, because this was the way that I was going to be able to have the rest of the weekend for myself. Or if I wanted a new pair of shoes, or if I wanted something, some candy or something, whatever, I knew that I had to do this. So I learned early on that Zena didn't matter, that I had to live life by someone else's agenda, that I had to do in order to receive. I had to learn that I was second best to my brother. I was less than, and I had to learn that I had to do things that I didn't want to do. I didn't feel comfortable with doing. I learned that. So how does that relate to money? That relates to money because I have made a lot of money in my career in human resources and recruiting, and had my own agency. And I'm an author, and I'm a speaker, and I've made a lot of money. And then I've lost a lot of money. I've made a lot of money, and then I went broke, and I made a lot of money, and then I lost my house, and I made a lot of money, and then, I couldn't make any money. I remember times when, during the recession, no one wanted to hire me because I'm my rates for recruitment are much higher than others because of the types of environments that I've worked for. And I remember lowering my standards. I remember lowering my standards so low during the recession that I applied for a job where I worked graveyard. And I actually got fired from that job because I didn't clock in. I worked the whole shift, but I didn't clock in. And I thought, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? So I'm sharing that with you because we are so attached to what it is that we do, being our self-value, being our self-worth. we are so attached to being able to make money and being able to do different things. And, money is flowing. You've got people who sit on Instagram or YouTube and they're just behind a mic and a camera and they're doing outrageous things and they're making money. I saw a woman who, she's about 19 years old and she's in, I don't know. She's in one of those Asian countries. And basically she just sits there, wears a lot of pink, talks really babyish and has her little teddy bear. Every once in a while she'll spin a wheel, this handmade, man-made wheel, and like a roulette wheel, and then it'll say do a push-up or smile or put lipstick on or, flirt with your eyes. And the donations that were coming in were unbelievable. This woman last year made $3 million doing nothing. So money flows, and it's our relationship with money that will keep money flowing to us and attracted to us. So I shared this story with you because, again, I'm being very transparent, and I hope that you can learn something from me. But when I was 6 years old, I learned that I had to give something to get something. And so that's why network marketing never worked for me, because I always had to work really hard, and they were saying work smart, and I had to work hard. So working smart was like, really, money's not going to be attracted to me if I'm not out there pushing. When I wrote my first book, if I wasn't out there peddling that book, then nothing was going to happen. And so for some of us in this generation, my generation, maybe social media doesn't work for us because of our beliefs with money. So social media is the new currency, right? You have all these followers. There's a percentage of them that are loyal followers. There are a percentage of them that if you say, go out there and buy this Greg Braden book, and then all of a sudden Greg Braden's sales are out the roof, then you become a valuable commodity to all of these other companies. So I know that I'm like, oh, well, is she talking about relationships or what is she talking about? I'm talking about your relationship with money. If you have money going out the door faster than you can make it, if you have a payday loan, if you're paying for all of these different things, if you're in a relationship and a man is, convincing you that he needs, and you're giving, then you don't have a good relationship with money. And I'm trying to tell you how to stop and have a better relationship with money. Moolah, the green stuff, right? Because it was very powerful for me to know that. I just thought that, I was collecting cans and but when I dug deep and I really reflected on that memory, like that really made a lot of sense to me in terms of not only my relationship with money, but about setting my boundaries and about honoring myself and about self-care and about, I am important. I'm not second best to anyone, that I have potential and I have capacity and I have the ability to live an abundant divine life. And so, but my belief until I recognized that was that I had to get dirty, work really hard, to make a little bit. Because remember what I said, my grandfather only shared some of the proceeds. So I was waking up at 3:00. I was doing the same thing he was doing, but I was only getting a little bit of the money. Right. And so that's where it started. That's where my belief started. So here's what I'm going to challenge you to do, because in this 3-part series, I am going to give you 5 easy tools and techniques to shift your relationships, to start having amazing relationships, to start living a life that you are so worthy of. So worthy of, right? One of the things that I want you to do, and if you've had any coaching with me, or if you want any coaching with me, just reach out to me to coach.askzena@gmail.com. But my techniques, I'm going to have to get some of my clients on here to tell you, I believe in simple, rapid transformation. Rapid, because I believe that you have everything within you to make that shift, to make that change. So 2 things I want you to do. I want you to find a memory of your relationship with money. Maybe it was the relationship that, your parents had. Maybe you saw them spend. Maybe you saw them live frugal. Maybe you saw them not have anything. I mean, it wasn't just my grandfather that I went to go collect cans. It was, I was often asked, well, did you get the child support check? So again, I knew that I had to do something to get something to make people happy. Right? So that's what it was. So, did you see your parents spend money? Did they work? Did they not work? Were they homeless? Were they not homeless? Did they live in a big house? Did they have a lot of things? Do you feel entitled because they gave you a lot of things? Learn to have a better relationship with money. So I ask you to find your earliest childhood memory and just let that marinate, right, a little bit, and then let it start to unfold as to what your belief system is money. So if you're struggling, you have an issue with money. You don't have a good relationship with money. If money comes and goes really, really quickly, you don't have a good relationship with money. If you can't seem to get enough money, you don't have a good relationship with money. I know some people are probably, well, that's easy for you to say, Zena. No, it's not easy for me to say. No, it's not, because I've lived in those moments of no money, and I've lived in those moments of, six figures, and I've lived in those moments when I had to turn down so much because it was so much coming to me. So, but I've lived in moments, my children have lived in moments where we've been homeless. So I'm just here to share. So I challenge you to find that, because here's the thing. Once you know that memory, awareness is powerful. You can shift, erase, delete that memory and start making new memories and new relationships with money. Secondly, and lastly, on this series about money, I am going to challenge you. Remember I said money is energy? So here's what you do. Everybody has a card. Everybody's swiping. No one's writing checks anymore. And rarely do we carry cash. Every time you swipe your card, just say an affirmation. If you want me to write an affirmation for you, send me an email and I will. If you want me to write, it's just a quick statement. So swipe your card. I'm releasing funds into the universe, drawing them back to me tenfold. I freely give as I freely receive. Money is drawn to me as I pay, I receive. Whatever, we can come up with a statement, but say something. Because here's the thing, if money is energy, then you need to be talking to that energy to come back to you. I tell it to come back to me tenfold. Like as I pay, I receive tenfold. Because I want more. I'm not being greedy. I want more. I want more to do more. Or I want more to help more. I want more to give more, right? So say a quick statement. If you want me to write a statement for you, I can do that. I want to thank you so very much for tuning in to the Good News radio station and listening to my crazy rant. Ask Zena, Coach Ask Zena. Hey, if you have any questions and you want to talk about money and the energy, reach out to me. But we're going to get into some really exciting things, and I'm hoping in this 3-part series we are going to heal, shake, shift, and make some stuff happen. Thank you for tuning into the Ask Zena radio show, and I want you to have a wonderful hump day. I want you to be so blessed and empowered that this long weekend will feel like the most amazing holiday. Self-care. Money is energy, and let it flow.